a deep dive into everything related to storytelling with original characters, and we really push for original characters here. It's something that's a big uh, uh, proponent for me. Like I just really encourage everybody to to be able to express yourself properly and without leaning on some like corporate IP to do it for you. You can have your own character that speaks for you, and that's what Midjourney lets us be able to do, and it's just so exciting to do. I mean, that's how this character started. I found Victor by using my original art as an image prompt back during version 4. No, version 3 of Midjourney. And it's stuck with me ever since. It's become part of my personality at this point. So it's been so fun to see so many other examples of that from people here. Just, making these original characters and then making comics or memes or whatever. We have a server dedicated to sharing this sort of content, this sort of self-expression that we call Gnarly Studios. That you're welcome to join at any time. You'll find links for it inside of VC Text. So for anyone that is new here, there are two channels just above the stage called VC Text and VC Create. You'll find them right here. VC Create is where we are prompting things together and collaborating. So if you immediately want to see like the stuff that we're working on being, like if you just want to participate in what we're working on, go to VC Create and start prompting stuff. Just type /imagine inside of VC Create and you'll be able to start working with us. Just above that, you'll find VC Text. And VC Text is where we are chatting, and you'll see it on the left side of my screen here. The text itself when it comes to like communicating any sort of like interests or particularly particularly any sort of criticism of whatever I'm doing, I would more than happy be able to hear it from you guys inside of VC Text. I really want to be able to make something that you guys want to enjoy, that you guys want to participate in making. So if I go off track, just tell me. Just tell me that you want to go in a different direction. You want to see me start messing with stop motion or live action or something like that. You're welcome to just yell at me inside of VC Text. Oh, hey, Enid. Good to see you. I can tell Enid. Actually, I saw Enid first as going past this prompt with the pink hair. So I was like, oh, yeah, she's here. And I see Miss Nameless is popping up here. That's awesome. So, okay, you're going to immediately see me start recognizing and talking to characters like as if I know them, because I do. Like, I've become quite familiar with you all, and it's been super fun to see each of you expressing yourselves with original characters like this. But the Gnarly Studio server is where we share all this stuff and where we are able to kind of collaborate outside of these streams. So I'm going to open up the character portal for you guys so you can see that. I have to open a new tab here. Is this going to let me do it without yelling at me? Let's see. Sometimes if I open too many of these tabs at once, it goes, I don't trust you. Okay. So this is the character portal where you can submit your original characters to be used by other people. The only thing we ask is that if you do use any of these characters, please post your favorite results inside of their entry. So, for example, we have Alara's Celine here. If there is any sort of, if you do use this character in any way, just be sure to post inside of here so that Alara gets a note, gets a little notification saying, "Ooh, my character's doing something in the world, in our fantasy world." At least in this case, there's a ton of fantasy characters here because that's our main draw. But if you like sci-fi, if you like westerns, all that sort of stuff, we actually have a bunch of different genres that you can filter through. So if you're like, if this doesn't really grab you right off the bat, you can filter based on all sorts of different parameters. Whether you're looking for a unique prop or you want a villain or a monster or whatever. There's so many cool options here for you. So if you don't have an original character, just grab one of these and be sure to share it to the original creators so they can be inspired and maybe continue your story for you. There's a lot of potential here. So we also have locations like the Chroma Caverns and Emberborn and various other places that are really cool to explore using the prompts that are provided inside of the character portal entries. So what I'm going to do now is open up the VC Create here. We're just going to start telling a story here. I found myself exploring a lot more often inside of Midjourney, like just to find any sort of like beautiful moments, or maybe dramatic moments that pique my interest. And one of them that did was actually inside of a void prompt. I think I was basically exploring these different spaces, and I found this guy here. He's like completely covered in like a fungal mushroom. He's a skeleton guy going through the snow, and I was like immediately inspired by this idea of like basically like a zombified courier, like someone who is going to be taking something from point A to point B. He's basically a reanimated corpse just to bring an object. And I wrote a script around this idea, and I want to develop it with you guys today if that's something that interests you all. If not, then we'll definitely dive into a different art style and stuff today. I'm really curious to hear how you guys want to start off 2026, because I'm tempted to just immediately dive into original storytelling and just start telling the story about this dead lich. Yeah, that sounds fun. Working with the script. I know we don't really do that a lot. We tend to kind of fly by the seat of our pants when it comes to especially the results that we get. Like we kind of get inspired by an image, and then we want to justify that image in some way. I think if we kind of change things up a bit, maybe go a little more traditional with how you would do some storytelling, I think we can actually make something pretty cool here today. So the basically what I have here is this image that I had crafted in a couple different steps, and I'll break that down here in a moment. But this is the kind of the inspirational result here. It was this image, and the prompt that I had come up with was basically that there is a gem necklace that this sword is pointing at, and I wanted to make it seem like the sword was like, it was just about to pierce it, or maybe it was something was coming in to attack it, and that gem had a self defense mechanism basically, and it explodes. It causes everything around it to get destroyed. So I was thinking, okay, that's actually where the story starts. Is this scene of like death and decay all around them, right? Like it's like what sort of great battle, great sacrifice happened here? That's the kind of intrigue that I wanted to start the story with. So and I'm happy to see your enthusiasm for that, Eden. So what I was doing here is I actually took this image here and I brought it into the editor, and I expanded on it. I put a character holding the sword, and in order to do that, it was actually kind of interesting. So and you can see the spoilers. I expanded the scene out to show the rest of the moment here. But the way that I started doing that was I went through, and I'll just hit view all so you can see this. So with the style code and the and our fantasy mood board that we have, I basically just started off with taking the sword here, putting it into a position that I liked. So I took the sword and I used the editing tool with Smart Select, and I put it here. And then as I kind of go through this, I'm going to kind of cycle through this with the keypad here so you guys can see this very quickly. If I just hold left here and I preload this a little bit so that we don't lose too many of the images when I cycle through here. I have to go back and forth a little bit before I can cleanly do this, because the browser needs to update with all these images. Otherwise you just see a bunch of gray screens. So let me just kind of cycle through this a little bit first. And then I will play the whole thing in order. This is actually how I do my time lapses, by the way, is I record the screen with OBS or whatever, and then I cycle through them all in one browser instance so that everything loads, everything preloads, and then I can just hold the left or right arrow on my keyboard, and that will let me make a time lapse like this. So you can see basically what I was doing was I was shaping the guy who's holding the sword bit by bit by bit. And if I put it in reverse here now, Yeah. I was originally just going to have a hand. I was just going to have an arm that just looks like a severed arm that you see. Like you start off maybe with a close up of the gem emitting a purple light of some sort. But then as I was developing, I really realized that I wanted a character there. I wanted someone to be the end result. So I got a bunch of different armored men, skeleton. And the thing is that I tried to make it like this is a scorched body instead of a skeleton, but it kept giving me skeletons, right? Because of at least how predominantly there is a skeleton in the image already. It's just going to create a heavy bias. So what I ended up doing was just I kept cycling through it, and I eventually was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep that skeleton hand there, and eventually I got to this, where I realized that a bunch of tarnished, like reddish, like charred skin was what I actually wanted. Not a skeleton, not fully armor cladded. I just wanted to like clearly look like he was a burn victim. And then I was like, oh yeah, I could add third degree burns as a prompt, and so I did. Eventually when I get to that stage, yeah, this is all third degree burn right here. I'm just trying to make someone that looks like that they've been, that everything's gone from them. Their hair, their head, like I just wanted as much without being too grotesque about it. And I landed on this one here, and I was very happy with this. So, basically what I did from there was I took that result, and then I brought it back into the editor again, and I used the prompt that I had earlier that was quite successful for getting a battle sequence. This one right here. It was, we open on the aftermath of a great battle. There are armored bodies littered through the foggy open plains. Swords, axes, and bloody shields tell a story of brutality. That's essentially the prompt where I was like, okay, so this is going to give me all my environmental details that I want for this scene. Like, that's awesome. This looks fantastic. And so what I'm going to do is I'm also going to share this to you guys so you have this prompt. I do that with the job ID function. So I go to copy job ID. You can also you can use the envelope emoji on Discord in order to get a job ID from like a Discord message. But I'm just gonna give this to you guys first. So I'll use /show and then paste that job ID, and then you guys can start messing with it. If you are new to Midjourney, you probably want to turn on remix mode. So go to /settings and submit that, and what that's going to do is it's going to open up a menu for you. You just want to make sure this button remix mode is turned on, and the reason why is because I know that you guys have heard this a million times for the regulars that are here, but the reason why is because we want to iterate. We don't want just an RNG machine. We want to be able to iterate on these images. So if we now hit variation on any one of these images, we can actually edit it. So we can say, actually, you know what? This character right here on the bottom right, I want him to be wearing a helmet instead of without one. So I can just now hit variation strong or something on him and just say that he has a helmet on. Things like that are really, really cool to do with Midjourney, and I'm excited to see where you guys go with this. We have the ability to run videos for you as well. So if you do have an image that you don't want to spend the fast hours on to get a video of it, just post it inside of VC text here. Just post the image, and we can start to mess with it. Especially since we are able to prompt stuff without like a video prompt, you could just send an image, and then we'll be able to use it in some way. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to use VC text. Otherwise, I'm just gonna kind of steamroll through this process here and check out all the cool stuff you guys are doing periodically. I'm already seeing some really cool characters from Golem and other people here. So for anyone that is new, if you do have a character you want to see me develop, you can also post that in VC text, and I will basically divert to that character. I'm seeing this pretty cool little cat guy, this unhinged cat guy from Snoopy here. I like that. But I very much recommend that you that if you do want to see me work on a character, this is a really cool Halloween character, for example. We can dive into that at any time. So, and I know people would appreciate a bit of a refresher from the character creator stuff. So you can see here that we already have some people remixing these battle scenes here, which is awesome. But I want to show the rest of what I did here to get to at least the starting stage of this, and then share the script that I have with you guys. Uh, let's see here. So let me scroll back on up. So at this point here, I ended up with this image here. Let's find the best one here. There's a little bit of variation that happens when you hit upscale with the editor. So like I usually do it 3 times to pick which one. You can kind of see that it's affecting the brightness in the background pretty significantly, but otherwise everything else has mostly stayed the same. But if I zoom in on his face, is going to be the most dramatic like decision making, because I really don't want to lose the detail of that face. So let's go for this one here. That's good. So now what I can do is I can also bring this one in as an individual image, and then show you guys how I use that image. Kind of unrelated, but I'm looking to person. Do I buy it? Yeah, sorry, I don't know how to help you with that, man. Um, let's see, slash show and paste. Okay, all right. So this was actually done by using the prompt that I had earlier, the battle scene prompt, as an edit, as a basically an outpaint. So if you are new to this stuff, in painting and outpainting essentially is like editing images with AI. So what we're gonna do is grab just the wording of this prompt, this one right here. I just used the words from this and the profiles. The main thing that I wanted to show you guys today to get things started is the fact that you can use the style codes in the editor. For some people that might be a bit obvious, but it's actually a really good way to ensure the details, especially the aesthetic details like the line art, the line weight, things like that, the color balance is going to be continuous throughout your edits. So if I go to the editor here and boop, go to edit, and then I hit view all, I'll just go to my most recent image so that you guys can see, similar to the time lapse that I did earlier. I'm going to also do a little time lapse moment with you guys for the expansion that I have here, because what I am essentially doing is I'm making a start frame and an end frame to create a slow dolly shot that will open up the scene. So if I got to do the whole scrolly thing here just to make sure we get all these images to preload really quick. Back and forth, just a little bit of back and forth, boom, like so. And then I'll show you guys the actual construction of this, because I think this is a super cool way to tell stories with Midjourney, because you are able to fully control the scene. A lot of AI video stuff is kind of just, I managed to get something funny after 100 rerolls, and that's kind of I'll be frank, a shitty way to produce things. It's not efficient, it's costly, and it's just, it takes a lot of time. Anything that's overly time consuming, especially in the world of AI, I think is an easy way to get me to get uninterested in something. So the fact that we could do this so quickly with Midjourney is so cool, and get so many good variations off of this. So for the lingo, a dolly shot is basically a camera move on a small rolling platform. Yes. So I really recommend learning like basic filmmaking terminology whenever you're using Midjourney video. It does also help for image generation, but the difference between, say, a zoom, like a zoom out and a dolly out, for example, will make or break the shot that you're working on. Because a zoom is like a lens that's like, that's turning and making the image like tighter or wider with the amount of light you're allowing in. So that's essentially like especially with a digital zoom, where it's just, I'm going to blow up the image, I'm going to shrink the image. A dolly, for example, is what makes the dramatic cinematic camera movements, because you're literally telling it, I want the camera to physically move in the space. So dolly is a really good starting prompt for filmmaking people, or just filmmaking stuff in general. So what I did here, though, I believe I've cycled through all this now. What I did to make this scene was pretty simple. I just took the image that I had that I want to use as my start frame, and I shrunk it down, and then just started prompting with that battle prompt. I literally copied and pasted it, and I started off with just basically getting a bunch of really interesting, corpses everywhere. But I eventually honed in the fact that when it came to the edits that I did, I took out all the negative space that was around it in order to make it a little more natural with how it fills in. And now suddenly, boom, we have this whole battle scene that's here. Because I allowed the original image to have a little bit of room to edit with the black behind him. So minor edits from there. All these minor edits are just things that bugged me that I wanted to clean up before running the video. And all right, so that is the final scene here, the final image here. And then I ran them as a start and end frame. So if I hit use here so that you guys can see this up close, the start frame is the image that we had, and then the end frame is the zoomed out image. The idea being that I really want this to be a bit of a quiet moment. I want this to be a moment stuck in time, frozen in time kind of thing. Did someone say prompt battles in the same sentence? There you go. So let's see here. So out of the initial results, this is where I actually started the stream here today, just hitting run on these. So I don't really know how these look just yet. We're going to try to iterate them in real time here. And then I'll check out the stuff you guys are making in VC Create. So we can see here that we definitely still get plenty of movement of the characters. What I really wanted to happen here was that the characters don't move, right? That they're pretty static, which is a hard thing to ask the AI to do. It really wants to shift things around. And what I noticed is that it's actually trying to justify the new negative, the slightly less negative space that I had around the character's sword here, which means that if the starting frame was just a little bit tighter, I would be able to probably avoid this sort of pinning, this sort of like wobble left to right that it's doing here, because it's trying to create this new lighter space on the top of this frame here. So and I look. He's like pushing the skull around with the end. That's cool. But let's fix this issue first, because the AI video is going to basically tell you where all your errors are, that you need to where you need to iterate from and hone in the result, because it exaggerates every little thing, right? So let's go ahead and take that first frame. Ooh. There we go. We have the first frame here. And the only thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start off at the tip of the sword here. So we can go ahead and hit copy. And then I'm going to go into the editor. In fact, I'm just gonna crop this in with the snipping tool. That'll be a bit faster here. So let's go ahead and just open that up here. We don't really need the highest resolution for what we're doing right now. It's just the starting frame. It will actually improve the resolution as we keep doing this because of just AI hallucinations. They tend to improve the image quality especially with Midjourney, I've noticed. But I'm going to use the snipping tool, and we are going to basically try to hone in that we want this area right here. Like so. Copy. I know you guys can't see it, but let me go ahead and now paste this edit. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. It's going to make me refresh this really quick. That bar froze there. Paste this. Okay, there we go. Now I have a new starting frame, which is just the close-up of the sword tip and him. I'm trying to get rid of the fact that there's a now brighter spot in the end frame. So we have that as the starting frame. Let's copy our prompt that we have here and then copy the end frame. And I'm doing this all on the website because it's really easy to point and click all of these little things. So I can hit this and boop, that there, and then drag this to the end frame. Come on. You can do it. There we go. drag it there. And now I'm just going to hit submit. There's also the possibility that I could get away with this by using low motion instead of high motion. So let's also do that where we use our previous version of the image, but we run it with low motion. And then we'll just let these two run in the background while we check out what you guys are doing in VC Create. All right. A cute girl with black overshadow and ponytail. Oh, yeah, I remember this character, the vampire character. That's cool. A bard. Bring the remix, the power of music, hero of guitars. That's actually some really cool perspective that you pulled off with this. This is really cool. I love the lower angle. There's a challenge right now to draw a very popular anime character from this sort of upward angle. So it's funny to see this just being done so well with Midjourney, just this angle right here. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But it's pretty cool to see this level of production value. I know the angle, yeah. Let's see here, and you can see all this image quality is or like the way the images look, how we're able to get Midjourney to behave like this is because we are using a combination of a style code. Yes, there you got the angle. The what is it? It's because of the style code, the style reference code, and the profile that we're using. If I open up in my Midjourney account, you'll see that under the mood boards, I have a lot of different mood boards here for all sorts of different reasons. Last stream, just before Christmas, we made Christmas cards using the Christmas card. Using the Christmas card profile that I had built for you guys, this mood board here. It's just my Christmas card that I made in 2024. And it's just two images. You don't need, you can have a mood board of a single image if you want. But these two images create a very cool, flat, like muted flat aesthetic that works really well for Christmas cards. And it's it's also anime, aesthetics. So people really like that. And I felt like it was a really successful stream. We had a lot of fun with that one. But the way we use it is we just hit that copy button here and it adds a code to the top of our prompt. And now we can just write whatever we want to use that mood board. So like we did last time, let's just say that this is a Christmas card. Let's do featuring a vampire. Why not? We have that character earlier. We could just use that as well. But the idea here is that these mood boards are essentially going to provide the aesthetic foundation for the art that we get back. And they do take some trial and error to really hone in what you want to, do. Like, for example, I have a mood board here that is entirely just the Sage comics so that I'm able to quickly make 90s themed comics in my art style. But I also have a theme here specifically for the fantasy stuff, which is what you see everyone using, which is right here, the fantasy phantasma profile. And that is going to encourage like fantasy adjacent imagery. And then the style code that you see attached to this, the 70 something, 701 0677201. This code was generated using the style creator. And I went through all that in the last stream. I'm not going to reiterate all that for you guys. You can watch it on YouTube, probably here in a couple days. But you could see by using the Christmas mood board, though, we are able to get these really, really pretty flat. Like you can see, it's all going to give us these reliable results because there's only two images in the mood board. So these sort of narrow results really help out for that kind of stuff. Okay, all right. We've definitely got fruitful with our new results here. So let's take a look at these. Did the zoom in? All right, the zoom in did not even process, so that's fine. It's fine. We'll just go with one of these here. So we got movement on all of these with the high motion, but it's the low motion that really did what I wanted it to do, which is just a slow pan out with some particle effects for the purple. I'm fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. What's um let's see here. Okay. So let's take a look at all four of these results here. We have a little bit of flicker with the background particles, right? That's what I'm going to basically be re-rolling against, is trying to get rid of these. It almost looks like Christmas lights. And you could see what I was theorizing was right. It's trying to justify that there's suddenly a light spot here when there wasn't one in the in the zoom in. So this is so far the most promising one because I wanted a little bit of tortured like state, like the sword is stuck there in space by magic of some sort, right? Like it's just kind of locked in. But it's too bad that the particle effects are kind of just cycling around with these ones. So we're going to end up messing around with this a bit. It's good to know that the low motion works, but I want to fix these errors that we are, because every video iteration we do teaches us something useful. So we'll be able to make the edits based on these results and make a better video result. As for what's happening inside of VC Create, let's take a look-see. I love that concept. Cool. We're gonna dig even more into it. So I see so many original characters already from you guys. Oh wow, Green Goblin Girl greeter at the great gigantic gate. A bunch of G's, golden pasta and their G's. This is a very easy way to find original characters, is just by prompting for something that you're leaning towards. But you can also use something called a void prompt. A void prompt was coined by a Midjourney mod here named Fnuckle. I had a really fun stream with her where she jumped in and she was like, "Yeah, I." I think that this could be a really fun way to explore her art. And then I was like, oh, we're gonna name it something. We're gonna call this something. MJ tried this, I think. Little grumps. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a void prompt with the SREF code and the profile code that is here. Gom added an additional one here. So you can always add additional profiles. So if you do have, say you did an entire orc comic series, they're all orcs, right? You can actually combine our fantasy series and your orc stories, and then boom, you will have results that kind of mix the two in real time. So what I'm going to do though is make a void prompt of this. And it's very easy to do. We're basically going to just remove the prompt entirely and then add quote to just the words that are used in the prompt. This is going to essentially just give us absolute randomness in terms of what's limited within the profile, the SREF, or the profile. Good job, Snoopy. You did it. You got the angle. That's amazing. So the cool thing about void prompts though is that it really encourages hyper unique character designs, because it is pulling from the entire like latent space of potential to create these. You're just going to get a ton of variations. You will see, based on the profiles that we've provided, that those variations kind of lean in a direction. There's a couple comics of Rhapsody inside of the profile, which means that the characters can have white hair. That these sort of patterns is how you refine the mood boards, right? Like you either introduce more imagery of people not with white hair to solve this problem, or you just limit even more images. So I am going to essentially run this void prompt a couple times. We're going to do a fun little thing. We're going to add a parameter to this one so you guys can see what this looks like machine gunned in turbo mode. But I'm going to hit reroll here and then and just copy this prompt. Actually, I'm just going to make a new prompt for you guys. So we're going to hit /imagine. It's going to be the same prompt, but I'm going to add a parameter to it called -- repeat. And then let's just go with 20. This is I heavily recommend not doing this if you're on a limited account in any way. Like even with relax mode and stuff, it will not register all of your repeats and stuff, let alone it's quite costly in your account. So just know that any number of repeats you do is going to, I'm going to run this just a couple more times and queue full. Right, exactly. But it's going to warn you because it does eat up your fast hours quite quickly if you do it outside of relax mode. So I'm just going to hit yes here. And that's going to now send 20 renders to the stream here. So this is a very easy way to get everyone in this room right now an original character of their choice. Because we are essentially smashing a bunch of void prompt, we're just void prompting the hell out of this and seeing where it takes us. So I'm already seeing some really fun female characters here. We can basically just wait for this to render for a minute and then cycle through. Oh, we got some dog people. We got some furries going on here. Nice. Oh, I like the elf girl with the wine glass. That's pretty cool. But we're basically just going to allow this to finish here. It should be just done in a couple seconds, and then we'll be able to dig through. And the queue's full. Yeah. All right, we'll just give this a minute. Hey, Kinky, are you here? We'll do the prompt announcements or prompt battle announcements here in a little bit. But what I'm going to do is now that we have these rendered, a girl with white. I see where you're going. Okay, so I do like some of these. I'm basically just gonna up-res the ones that I think are the most interesting potential. Like good balance of certain design language stuff. Let's take a look-see. I already see you upscaled the dog. Not surprised there. The nun, I gotta upscale the nun. Let's see here. Battle nuns, I'm all down for. Oh, this girl's cool with the glasses. I like her. Let's take a look here. Ooh, the girl with the dragon's pretty cool. I if you guys want to develop her, feel free. But this I'm gonna go with the knight on this one. And ooh, the guy in the background pretty cool. I know that I'm just kind of randomly picking these now, but I wanted to show you just how fast you could do this. So we have some original characters here. Let's go. I'm gonna go with the night girl here. I think there's some potential in her here. And so what we can do is we can essentially say, okay, this is our protagonist. This is the person who's going to be, leading the story or maybe even just like, as the catalyst for the story. We're going to hit copy image address. And then I am going to do this inside the website so that you guys can see this. We're going to go to create. And then I just paste the image into the bar up here. And I'll be able to drag it to either an image prompt, a style reference, or an omni reference. This is a little easier than using parameters, especially visually on a stream like we're doing right now. So you can do all of this on Discord. It's just a matter of learning the parameters. And so whatever I do here, I'm going to try to repeat on VC Create. So you can do it either way. But now that I have her as an omni reference here, I am going to grab the style reference and the mood board that was used to create it. There is an additional mood board from Gompasta that was used here as well, but I'm just gonna go with what I have here in my account. And now I just want to set an aspect ratio, so let's go with 16:9 to be cinematic and movie-like. There we go. AR 16:9. And now we can essentially, we could just do more void prompts. We could just say, hey, void prompt her, and we don't even have to direct her. We could just see what it gives us with the default values. Now, my default value for OmniWeight, which is like how powerful the reference is inside of the result, or inside of your prompt, that is actually done. That's the default that you can set as a slider, and so I have it set to 255. 255 is pretty decent at Oryx. Why is she crying? Let's see here. All right, so we're definitely getting some really good results just off of the void prompt here of basically saying, look, give me this same image here, but let's expand on it. Let's see different angles of her. that kind of thing. This is just going to give you basically a different iteration of the same image you provided, because we are not really giving it enough material to do anything beyond this. So if I lower the omni weight, it's going to restrict this image less. It'll, like right now you can see they're all very reliably about the same image because of the way the omni reference looks. So let's drop that number from 255 to 55. And now, similarly to like how variation subtle works than variation strong, variation strong is going to change the composition, or more likely change the composition, while variation subtle preserves the composition. With omnireference weight, what essentially is happening here is how much creative freedom that are we allowing to change the reference, right? Whether it's change of angle, change of position, or whatever, and even environments and more dramatic aspects of it can be edited with a low omni weight. But you could see off of these four results, they're actually really good. I really do like all these. But they also give us all the same scene because, again, we are just doing this as a void prompt. There's nothing here to redirect this character to do something else. Oh, hey, Troll Fruit, good to see you, buddy. And no worries being late, man. I'm just happy you're here. Thank you. Thank you for coming. I thank all of y'all for coming. I see a bunch of regulars here. Thank you so much for coming back in the new year. Hope you guys had a festive new year. I will mention that we did celebrate both Christmas and the New Year's, or the holidays and New Year's, on the Gnarly Studios server. So if I pop that open here really quick, I'm going to indulge a little bit here because inside of our update log, you'll see that we have our Happy Holidays card that we made together. So I'm going to copy this and paste it so that you guys can see it in VC text at full view. But this card is so cool. It got a lot of compliments from all over the place. I mean, there's folks at Midjourney that were like, "What? Like, this is nuts." What's really cool about this card, guys, is that it started off as a collab. So you could see here, I said that this card is the result of the Pass It On Holiday Challenge. So if I click on that, you can see that it's this whole image here started off as a challenge from Rhapsody to take this image here and start adding your characters to it. Like, we basically just did a pass along sort of thing. And I Troll For You and Lolo Soon and Rhapsody and everyone and a whole bunch of people contributed original additions to this. And this was the result that they ended up with here. And I decided to go ham with it. So I had a whole day before Christmas Eve to just sit on my computer and do this. So I did. I spent way too many hours, a double-digit hours at least, putting this together. But the holiday card itself features a bunch of the regulars. In fact, I think 37 regulars from our server. It's a little hard for me to navigate on this screen, but basically you got me running the the robotic Rudolph. The robotic Rudolph I drew. I actually took one of these results. I said, "Hey, let's repeat this," and then I drew over that, and I made the cybernetic element. So that's all just done with a tablet. And then we have Rhapsody flying in with I Troll For You, scooting out of the way because I'm recklessly driving, of course. And then we have everybody else below, and there's way too many people for me to go one by one through all this. There's a couple just fantasy characters. There's a couple of characters that are most of them are OCs. I had to put the joke about the shrimp cocktail with Kinky there, but I wanted to tell a story.
I love it so much.
I'm glad you love it. It took a couple of iterations to get you in the right scale with everyone else here as well. It's just there's so many furries and cat boys and things like that the scaling was all over the place.
That is the story of my life.
But you could see here that everyone wanted to make sure every interaction kind of told a story. The characters were not just standing there to take a photo, right? So I had Bijimark here, the bunny character, kicking snow onto Lolo Soon's feet, and you can actually see that there's snow inside of his coffee. The Kinky is covered in snow, but that's because Bomba threw a snowball at her just before this moment and then threw it at Drolinak as the second snowball. So that was the little interaction I had there. I think Chester's hitting on Monty. I think that's what's happening here. What is it? Enid is very carefully putting this massive pink ornament on, and so on and so forth. There's so many little interactions here, and I gotta mention this too. Legal Beagle is 100% yelling, "Stop running!" to Brecky, running around the tree, wrapping up Fungi Mancer. There's just so many cool little fun things that we were able to add, from this. So yeah, I was very, very happy with this. I know you guys are too, because the reaction we got online was really big on the server. So that's really cool. But getting back into things now, inside of the update log, there's another thing here. Actually, it's inside of comics. We have a whole bunch of really cool channels that you guys could check out. But the inside of comics here, I also did my comic series New Year celebration. So basically, the holidays was for the Midjourney. It was for Midjourney and the Gnarly Studios crew, and then the New Year's I focused on the Sage series. So with this comic, it just says Happy New Year's. It's a single panel. I just wanted to wish everyone a Happy New Year's, and I had a little bit of a joke there. Because in the previous comic we established that Vicky moves in next door with Sage, so this is just my lean towards that. So I'm very happy with the results of with all this stuff here. I thank you guys so much for supporting my comics, for everyone else's comics. It's just so cool to have this amazing community. Actually, you guys are awesome. It really is. It warms my heart whenever I load up the server here and just check out all the cool stuff you guys are doing. Because I wake up and there's like new stories that to consume. I feel like every other day at this point. But if you check out the channels we have here, we have one more channel I wanted to focus on, which is the ongoing series channel. You can find that a little higher up here. Why am I not finding it right off the bat? Come on. Where is it? Where is it? I'm blind. There it is. All right. It's under the storybook here. You'll find ongoing series. And inside of ongoing series, you'll find everyone else's series that they're working on right now. So you have mine, all of mine go under the tumbling up filter here. But the idea here is that if you want to add a new chapter and you want people to keep up with your stories, you can post it inside of the ongoing stories and start going from there. So like Lolo Soon's Gigopolis, by the way, you could just dig into his story right now and start reading it all. Look at there's so much of it, and it's so good. I really love Gigopolis. I highly recommend you guys check it out. As he's a Frenchman who wanted to tell a story about Paris in a sci-fi post-apocalyptic sort of future. It's really cool. I highly recommend it. But let's see. Sorry, I'm unfamiliar with a better one. For some reason, my tablet isn't letting me save a photo. What is this referencing to? PDFs are maybe not the way to share characters. Oh, okay, all right. That's just a file incompatibility thing. Yeah. You could do screen caps. Screen caps is probably the easiest way to do it. Just do a quick screen cap with your phone or with the computer with snipping on Windows or anything like that. You should be able to just share it that way. Okay. So let's see here. Now, I want to see what's happening inside of VC Creek, because there's plenty. I know that there's plenty. I see that you took this and used it as an SRF. Yep. And all the exaggerated character proportions have been summarized into basically big head mode with here. So that's really funny to me. It just looks at the variations from all you guys. Trying to animate any of these kind of multi-panel things is pretty cool. I mean, it definitely gives it a bunch of references for how the character would look at different angles. But it always gives me these kind of weird results, especially since Midjourney Video is going to lower the resolution unless you run it in HD. There you go. Battle Nuns. Yeah, Battle Nuns. Battle Nun minigun. Yeah, Battle Nun minigun. Oh, that's a fun thing to say. Uh, yes, please more Battle Nuns with miniguns. Um, all right, I see Hillgarden's got some spooky things going on with this void prompt here. They are using an additional profile as well, and they've set the chaos to 100 and the style to 444. Interesting. With maxi guns, please. Did you want to do the prompt battle announcement, Kinky?
Sure thing.
Awesome.
Hello. Hello. My name's Kinky Kong, and every week we play a little game during the weekend, and it's called Prompt Battles. It's a game where you can come in, win some free fast hours, and make new friends and learn how to prompt outside of your own wheelhouse. Things that you never thought about prompting before. Oh, the things you'll prompt when you play prompt battles. You wouldn't even believe it. We prompt at least 3 times an hour, sometimes four. And you can come and go as you please. You don't have to stay the whole day, but some people do. Some people do. And I like to call those people crazy, or me. I also stay the whole time. Um, but that's because it's the event that I host. I would love to see you there. You can get free fast hours for winning a game, for participating and hanging out, for voting, for playing bingo, the Snoopy bingo that Snoopy made. It's amazing. It's a game strictly based on the things that we do as people. um, so even if you don't know how to prompt, you can still win that way. And I can guarantee you, you will come out of there with more fast hours than you went in with. We do this on Saturdays and Sundays every weekend, starting on Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sunday, we start at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please come and play with us. I hope you do because we would love to meet you. Um, and there you go.
Thank you,
Thank you
Kinky.
so much, Victor, and back to you.
No, thank you so much, Kinky. I really appreciate that. Yeah, definitely go to prompt battles. It's worth it. I promise you, it's worth it. Um, So let's see here. I've cycled through a bunch of the stuff from before, and I feel like we're probably going to end up using this mycelium character by the end of this stream, and you'll see why here in a bit. I'm going to share with you guys the script that I've been making, but I want to finish this little thing with the girl with the outfit of the and the armor clad here. I'm already seeing some pretty fun stuff, especially this. It almost seems like it has the materials of stop motion. Like I feel like it could work as a stop motion thing that it's been made in 3D to look like stop motion. I just really dig this. It's close. Yeah. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to go back to my Midjourney account here, and basically we're going to just see how we could use this character right off the bat. We do have a robust way to make character designs that I do heavily recommend you guys check out. We have it inside of the Gnarly Studios knowledge base. So if we slide on through here, we go to the knowledge base. And the knowledge base is where you can find alternative tools and things that we use to make our comics, make our videos, that kind of thing. You'll find all sorts of different information about AI options as well as non-AI tools and things. I will be posting a review for my new tablet that I will be getting sometime next week. I bought an XP Pen Pro 19, so I'm excited to dig into it. It was a splurge price wise, but with the holidays, I really wanted something that was a proper upgrade. And if you looked at my screen, my tablet screen right now, you would see a bunch of gashes in it because I have an old Huion. Yeah, hey, Jinx. I also have an old Huion, and the robustness of the screen is just not there. It looks like I took. I literally shared my a screenshot of my tablet to a bunch of artists, and they were just like, What do you draw with? Freaking butcher knives?" And I had to put that together. I had to show a bunch of butcher knives being stabbed into a tablet as a drawing utensil. But I wanted something stronger with a better screen, and that one's it's a 4K screen. I'm going to have a review for that probably inside the knowledge base within the next 2 weeks or so. But inside of the knowledge base is a expansion on character turnarounds. So let's just scroll on down until I find that really quick. It's actually probably a bit higher. Let's just do a search for it really quick. There it is, using video to create turnarounds. Golden Pasta actually made this tutorial, and I heavily recommend you guys check it out to see how to use this stuff in a very productive way. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy link, and here is the using Midjourney video. Okay, and paste that here. So basically the way that this works is you start off with an image, and you're basically going to do an animation of that image. And that animation is going to do a 3D model turnaround is what you're going to prompt for in video. So you create a version of your character that's has enough negative space for the character to turn around. It has a clean background, and it essentially just gives us the ability to spin it around without a lot of influence. And you might get some some movement of the character, like they might physically try to turn around with their hips and stuff. That's fine. You really just need the image from multiple angles, and then you can also do this with expressions to get happy, sad, any sorts of expressions you want out of the characters. But this works for anything, including props. The fact that you could spin an object around dynamically like this gives us all the references that we need to say, okay, now I know what this character looks like from the front, back, the sides, so on and so forth. So it's very, very cool. It's a very good way to create all your references that you need for your character before you can really tell a story with them. So we're going to create a quick little turnaround with this new warrior girl here that we have. So as we saw before, the void prompts are just going to bring together. The void prompts are just going to bring the characters, basically check our results and make sure everything works and is compatible. Even with the lower Omni reference, we're still getting a good image here. But now let's actually direct this image to create that clean background version that we're hopefully aiming for here. So I'm going to hit use on this, and I'm going to say that this is a original character sheet. And we don't really need the word original, but I'm going to put it anyway. Original character sheet on white background. And I'm going to say, and I'm going to just do a very loose description of this character. Let's say that she is a fantasy knight with white hair. And the thing is that with the lower Omni reference, it is likely going to introduce new aspects of this character design. So we have to balance between a higher Omni reference and just how much of this image is going to be influenced by the profiles, because we're probably going to end up taking out a couple of these profiles to force a white background. The entire reason that we use the profiles in the SREF code is not just to create a similar line weight, but it's also to keep them in the world, to keep them in this fantasy space. And the profile is quite moody. It's quite gloomy in a way. So you could see that even with the correct prompt, we're still getting this fantasy background space because it's also in the Omni reference. So why don't we try this? We'll just hit use, and then we're going to take out the profile and the style reference. This is going to widen significantly the potentiality of the image result to be beyond whatever's inside of our mood boards here. This could change the art style of the character as well, but it's far more likely to give us results that we can use for our intended purpose here, as it's basically a pre-production tool set here. So look at that. As soon as we say, hey, our mood boards are making the final images, we want to make assets, we want to make materials, remove those profiles so that you get the complete image here. And it's, oh man, we definitely got it here. So let's go ahead and hit more, copy, job ID, and let me bring that into VC Create for you guys so you can see it. /show and paste. Okay. Now, Out of all these results, I think the third one has the most potential. We have all the materials we need to tell who she is and what she's doing. We have her armor cladded, we have her weapons. We even have the potential for an additional expressions in the sheet if we wanted it. So let's go ahead and upres the third one here. Boop. What's with the giant sci-fi technology? Oh my god, putting sci-fi inside of the fantasy world is going to give you some really cool stuff. I love this Iron Golem character. That's awesome. Love that. Okay, so this is a really good result to start off with, by the way. Really, really good. But I want to see, just because I'm never happy with 100% with whatever I get, so I'm going to hit submit on a variation subtle, which is going to preserve a lot of this composition. But it's going to allow for the details to change. So if there's any details I'm kind of iffy about, like maybe we want a different emblem on our chest, or maybe the sword is kind of shaped in a weird way, we can use variation subtle to preserve the locations of these things, but to otherwise get a different version of them. So let's take a look at all of these results here. I think the fourth one has the best chest piece so far. But let's just zoom out a little bit here and take a closer look. We're getting multiple expressions on the bottom left. That's good. On the bottom right, it's kind of the same on the front and the back. We really want to avoid these sort of repeats of, like, basically the front and the back look the same on around the waist here. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. So let's go ahead and take a look at these. Nah, I'm going to see the original really quick. So with the original, we definitely have something different that's happening here, but I want to run this one more time, and maybe we'll get a result that I feel 100% about. I really, this is an important step. It's an important step to get right, because it means that you're going to be living with this character for quite a while, assuming that you get some really successful results. You don't want to have to keep fixing the same problems again and again and again, because there's a bit of a convolution in like the design of your character. So, let's see what this result gets us. If it gets us any closer to something, we can always mix and match these results as well. You want to be careful mixing and matching, say, like the fronts and backs of characters, because there's going to be a lot of inconsistencies between each one. But what is it? When it comes to the front and back, I think this one is the best that we got. It's the bottom left one here. Yes, I'm going to go for that one. Boop. So we upscale that, and I'm going to go ahead and hit upscale subtle, and then I'm going to upscale 3 times on upscale creative, because upscale creative is pretty dramatic with what it changes. So we are going to need a couple iterations of that just to make sure that we're happy with the final result. So let's just give a minute for those to render, and then we will create our complete turnaround using Midjourney Video. You thought you could standardize my images? No. No, we can't standardize anything about you. I just reminded of that XKCD comic about standards, where it's like, we need to make a new standard, in order to fix this incompatibility of all these different products, and then they make a new standard. Like, you've made a new standard. No, you made the 15th standard out of 14 or something. Like. It's repeating through history. There you go. Yep. There are now 15 competing standards. Exactly. I love that comic. Okay, let's take a look at all 4 of these results here and see which ones we like the most. It's a little harder to scroll through on Discord, so I'll actually do this inside of the Midjourney website. So let's take a look at all 4 of these results. These are the first 3 are going to be the creatives, and then the last one is the subtle. So let's take a look here. The subtle is still rendering, but I'll be able to work with basically this one here. I think this one's really good. Yeah, I think this one works. We will definitely reduce it down to 1 sword, 1 shield, and 1 sheath, right? which I think it's just going to be these three here. This big sword here is a little silly, especially since we would have to scale it down, which changes the line weight. Now, understand, this is kind of important. If you do take an object and you do change its scale, that means the thickness of the lines change as well, right? So ideally, we don't want to have to rescale this stuff too much in order to preserve the line weight across our props and everything else like that. So let's just copy this image. Copy image. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to construct this inside of the editor so that you don't have to use any other programs to create your first character sheet. And then we're going to use that to create a turnaround. So let's go ahead and hit edit. And then edit from URL. And we paste the URL to our image here. Oops, hold on a second. Let me grab that again. Oh, we got our subtle here. See what the difference is. It's pretty subtle. But I'm going to hit right click, copy image address. That's what I meant to do. Copy image address, edit from URL, paste the URL, boom. We have our sheet here. Now, the thing is that we want to kind of reduce this down to what's the most useful. I don't really need these close-ups. I will preserve them on the sheet here, but I want to start getting at least a variation of these. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hit add, and then add from URL, and I'm going to add another version of the exact same image. And you'll see why I'm doing this in a moment. I'm going to go to the erase paint, and I'm basically just going to select one element of the image and keep it as that layer. So we're going to focus on just the front and the back for this one. So let's erase now everything on the left. And it doesn't look like I'm erasing anything, but if you look at the bottom left corner of my screen, I am actually erasing everything that's on the left side of this image here. Okay. And now on the layer underneath, I am going to click layer 2, and now I'm going to erase this sword, but I'm also going to erase all of her on the right here. And you can see that on the bottom left corner that I am indeed erasing both sides of this image. And now that we have this, I should be able to just grab that first layer, go to the move tool here, and I can now move these closer to each other. You want to be aware that there is a negative space that you don't want these overlapping with each other. But now we have our sheet here. But I'm also going to drag in this crop tool. Let's go for something like this. Okay. And I'm going to start off by just hitting download image so that we have it. Any edit is in its current state is going to save just fine. Let me just go ahead and put this in my fantasy folder here and hit save. And essentially that edit, if we open that up here now, you can see it's preserved exactly as you see it inside of the editor. So if we said, all right, remove all the background and then download that image, it'll have all the background removed. But as soon as we submit anything to it, it flattens the image again. So what that does mean is that we want to, she's a bit serious. Let's have her laughing in this one. She is laughing. We'll just say a gender in order to kind of encourage a certain face shape. And then say what we want her doing. We'll go to paint. And then I'm just going to paint a different expression on her by going to the bottom layer 2, going to the erase tool, and then just erasing the expression that she currently has here. So let's just get rid of this. This is entirely optional. In fact, our character turnarounds will be able to create new expressions for the characters, but we are going to just give this a go so that we have some variation on her sheet here. So she is laughing. Let's give this a go. And this also lets us decide, do we want to bring back our style references? Do we want to bring back our profiles in order to kind of encourage the line art to behave in a certain way? I won't be surprised if we don't get her like laughing. Like, okay, we got a bit of a smile from her here. It's a bit of a weird smile, but it's a smile. It's a smile. But I'm also going to now select the upper parts of her eyes to properly be like a grin. She shouldn't have grumpy eyebrows with a smile. It's when people laugh without making an expression, like that's what she looks like in that moment. But let's go ahead and just get the top of her face and get her hopefully with her eyes a little wider up. Yeah, it's a little higher up here, but let's go ahead and add a little bit to this prompt here, and we're basically going to say that this is multiple expressions, uh, multiple expressions on a character sheet. She is laughing. The multiple expressions is going to try to encourage that we definitely want to see multiple expressions of her. If I now say drag this crop tool up and bring it up, we might get many different versions of her laughing or smiling or anything like that. But let's just go with because this is entirely optional. I don't really want to focus too much on this. Let's just go ahead and upscale this one. We'll just go with that. Okay. So now that that's upscaled, we're just going to give it a moment to get downloaded onto our account here. And we're going to make another edit. Actually, let's make another edit while we're waiting for that one. We have the full sheet now, so let's go ahead and crop in. I want to make sure that we get rid of everything except for just one angle of her, particularly the front one. This is how we're going to create our character turnaround here. So I don't think I can crop in both directions just yet, so I'm going to bring that back. And use the move tool to drag that to the right until she is centered onto the image. And now I'm going to hit download image. Just like I said before, if you hit download, whatever's inside of your window is going to be what's preserved in your download. Okay. So now we can go over to the creator here and we can click on our downloads and drag it as a starting frame for the video. We might need to add some negative space around her because right now it's very tight on her. We might want to go for a little more like 4:5 or square aspect ratio for this, but I think we're going to be fine. Let's just give it a go. This is a 3D model of a 3D model turnaround, and then I'm going to start off that prompt by saying it's a female knight with white hair. A very simple, loose description so that it knows that as we spin around, that's what we want. And let's just send that in. I will do low motion because I really don't want to see her like moving around, shifting position while she does this. But what this is going to do is it's going to let us be able to create at least in AI terms, we're hallucinating what every angle of her is with this Midjourney video. So it lets us be able to just take this to a whole other level when it comes to getting fast references of our characters. And this is how you can complete an entire fantasy like scene in a single evening that has consistent characters and consistent scenes and backgrounds and stuff, is by combining this method of character turnaround, the style creator, and your mood boards. Once you have all those three honed in, you get really reliable results with Midjourney, at least for trying to tackle a specific project. There's all sorts of use cases for Midjourney. I mean, you can go from I'm just here for the aesthetics, I'm just here to explore looks and scenes and styles, right? Or you could use it in a very utilitarian way, like I do, where I very much want assets. I very much want clean background plates, things like that. That's what I use it for, and that's what I try to teach here, is to show you how to create functional imagery, right? So this is extremely functional. In fact, this was one of the most functional tutorials that we've had since I feel like since I started with the filmmaking tutorial back during version 4. So 3 cheers to Gom for putting this together for us. Thank you so much for that. But we'll see what we get here. Every iteration that we do, I will note that her hair is going to change because guess what? We don't have any references for her hair on this one image. We could set an end frame to include her on the right side here, but it tends to just kind of like spin very quickly and not really do what I want it to do when we do this. So I find it better to kind of let it hallucinate what the back of the character might look like, and then worst case scenario, take your original, like from your original character sheet and use that one. But in my experience, Midjourney Video is extremely consistent. It's far more consistent than any other AI model I have played with when it comes to your starting frames, especially. Just making sure your character stays consistent from beginning to end is kind of a minefield of problems with most AI models. But for some reason, Midjourney Video just knocks it out of the park. It's so good at this. So we're gonna take a look see at what we get, and then decide what we want to do with this character afterward. Because this is going to give us every angle that we need in order to say, okay, I can now shoot a scene with this character. Ooh, all right. Just give it another moment here. I do run all my videos in HD, right? So it does take an extra minute to do. Whenever I'm running images, I'm running them in turbo mode, which is like a more costly version of generating the images. It just puts you ahead of the queue. But it is something that, yeah, especially if you're on a budget friendly or doing relax mode and stuff like that, you're going to take a little longer to do what I'm doing, but you'll get to the same result. It's kind of amazing that we can do this at all these different paces and still keep up with each other and make cool things together. I love that. But we're almost done here. You could see that she slightly turns her head in this third one, which is like normal. There's going to be a little bit of animation that the characters do with this. But low motion should discourage that as much as possible. So we'll see. We'll see how far this gets us. Okay. So I do want to mention that we do have. Oh, there you go. It finishes. I'll mention that in a minute. But let's take a look at our results here. So in terms of the most functional, in fact, the fourth one is the most functional result we have. There's a little bit of a glitch or an error that happens. And there's some really silly growth of her hair in one part of this. So what I would do is I am going to rerun this. And I will run it again as well in high motion so that you guys can see what that looks like. And I'm actually probably going to get better results by increasing the amount of negative space that's around the character to give her more room to turn around. It's going to encourage more actual animation of the character, like like shifting your hips and all that stuff I mentioned earlier. But it will help. So if I go ahead and hit the edit tool again here, and I widen our crop tool here, I need to remove these elements here. So let's get rid of this and get rid of this. Okay. Boom. And then I just I hit download this image. And what's cool about this is that it actually preserves the alpha channel, like the negative space. You could see it looks like it's a slightly darker gray, but that's actually just the alpha channel and how Chrome shows the alpha channel. In Photoshop, it's like a hatch, like a checker box spreadsheet looking pattern. But now that I have this here, I can go into the create again here, use that turnaround, the low motion turnaround, and replace this image with the new version that we have. Alpha channels are just ignored for video because there's no, you wouldn't be able to use them. And H.265 is the only thing that has an alpha channel that isn't like meant for like cinephiles and people who make movies. So we're just going to we're just gonna go with this. We know that it will ignore the alpha channel. It might make them black spaces. I'm curious what this is gonna do actually. Okay, it made it just black spaces. Interesting. Okay, let me fix this really quick. That's not what we want. I thought I was just gonna empty, like make white voids there, but no, it added black voids instead. So let me go ahead and hit cancel on this. The easiest way to do this would probably be inside of like MS Paint or Photoshop or something like that. So I'm just gonna quickly do that. Let me go into my tablet here. A tablet, boop, and then I'll drag this new image into here. It's nothing but wrong, kind of nothing. But it's the wrong kind of nothing. Exactly. So I have her here now. Let me get this moved over here. There we go. I'm just going to add a layer underneath, put white, boop, 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 and then crunch that back down. And I have my now fixed version of this. Cool. This now has more negative space on the sides, so I can just quickly hit the use button on here, which just replaces this prompt, delete the starting frame, and then paste that image back in. Now, whenever you're doing this on the website, know that it's going to default as an image prompt. You want this as a starting frame, so we're going to get rid of this, but it's inside my library now, so I can add images, make sure that I have starting frame clicked, and then I click the most recent image because that's going to be whatever I just pasted. And that's how you can very quickly set it up as a starting frame. And then I'm going to hit submit on that. So now we're going to be able to compare not only what high motion does, but also what adding more additional negative space is going to do for this. So let's see here. We got a couple, at least another minute on the other renders here. So let's see what you guys have been doing inside of VC Create. There's so many cool mushroom related stuff here. I'm just going to kind of scroll through this for a minute and just start sipping on my drink here for a sec, because I feel like I've been yammering straight for an hour and a half, and I have. So just in a second here.
All this guy does is yammer, 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 yammer for hours and halves. And when we have to listen to all this stuff that's actually really good and informative, so lucky us, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't complaining. I was just noting that yeah, I do need a drink every once in a while, so I quickly grabbed one there.
I was doing a comedic twist.
I appreciate it. I am loving this sort of like floral, like leaves hanging on the hats here. It's really cute with this here. I do dig some of these. There's one video here I wanted to play. It's an Enid Goblin doll. It's very cute. I love her outfit. It's very, very cute. Let's take a look at some of these. I can hear my dog is snoring super loud next to me. Let's see. It's somewhat distracting. It's a yellow raft going over the waterfall. I see you got your character in there. That's awesome. Using OREF. It's at the default value for OREF set at 100. It's pretty cool. A derp meme, silly face, dumb expression, bad joke, reaction image. Yeah, sure. That's what that is. Yeah. I do like all the other spooked faces though in here. That's pretty cool. Is this more of the nature? Yeah. I love this sort of solar punk environment. So if I hit reroll on this and then it changes from nature technology and add like solar punk to the front of it. Solar punk, nature technology, solar punk, potato based nature technology. I'm doing that because I just saw potato propagator on my chat here. So let's see if there's a bunch of potatoes plugged in like batteries to power all these sci-fi devices. It made anthropomorphic potatoes. You had so many potatoes on New Year's. Oh yeah. So is it just called a potato battery? I like the solar panels, but it anthropomorphized all the potatoes, so now I feel bad for eating them. So let's do solar punk potato battery. Potato battery, and then I'm just going to put a comma to kind of separate these concepts here to say nature technology. Let's just go with that. So silly, but yes. Why are they all in bed? They're snoring. Oh, okay. Yeah, anthropomorphics, man. Ooh, no cartoon and no anime, and you got this? I like that. That's awesome. This is like, I would not be able to tell you that was an AI image if someone showed that to me. I'd just be like, yeah, you got a really good photo there. Wow, that's awesome. I mean, look at the reflection in the water and how it's handling the mountain there is just awesome. That's so cool. Great job. That's a good void prompt. Putting negatives is a really fun way. In fact, that's what we did on the first void prompt thing, was that we were like, all right, you're not allowed to change anything except for the no prompts, right? Like the no function, which is what you see here being used to make this image. --no cartoon and anime. So it's going to avoid cartoons and anime by using the no prompt there. And using void prompts to do that means that you just maximize the potentiality and limit the results in across the board. So that's really cool. Just figured out how to get the chat. Yay! Hey, Dragon Wolf, good to see you, buddy. I'll remind it for anyone that's here. that if you look at the left side of your screen, you just scroll on down to the stage here where we're all hanging out. Just above that is VC Text and VC Create, and that's how you're able to collaborate with the stream here. Welcome, Dragon Wolf. It's such a sad potato. Okay, all right. Let's. I think in order to not get a bunch of Mr. Potato Heads, let's. I'm gonna say hyphen no, Mr. Potato Head. I don't think this is gonna work, but I'm just gonna go with it anyway because I keep seeing I had to remove potatoes. Only took an hour. Yeah, it's all good. If there's anything you want to see, Dragon Wolf, feel free to let us know, and we'll start messing with it. It doesn't have to be anime. It doesn't have to be even drawn. We could do whatever. Okay. But at least we got rid of the potato heads here, so that's cool. It's. I definitely want to provide more images of potato batteries. Okay. All right. I'm gonna move on though. Our videos are probably rendered. I don't need to keep focusing on this, but you guys are welcome to if you want to. I just want to see a bunch of potato batteries running a robot or something. But okay. All right. So this is what I'm gonna do. Let's take a look at our video results here. We'll first start off with the rerun of the low motion here. We got a good turnaround off of these. There's a little bit of jitter here and there, but nothing too crazy. These are all pretty decent. A little bit of hair movement in this one. This is probably the best one. Is the third one on this run. Let's check out what the high motion did, and look what the high motion is doing. This is why I recommended not using it. Is because the faces tend to stay locked into into looking at the camera as if they're speaking to somebody, or they're standing on a turntable rather than digitally 3D model turnaround where they're static. So high motion is going to encourage a lot of stuff you don't actually want in this result. So we stick with low. But with the additional negative space, we got a much slower and I think more functional turnaround out of that. So let's see what we got off of these here. We really only need a half turn as like the minimum here. So this one here is probably my favorite so far. We got a little blink from her in here. Her pinky's a little short. That's an error where we can make an edit in the original image to kind of fix that. But what I'm gonna do is I think this one's probably gonna be the best result. What did you post here, Enid? Yes. Oh, wow. The expressions you got on her, Enid. My God. Hold on, guys. Look at this. That is so good. What the hell? Hold on, I gotta keep that on loop here real quick. There's only one error that I'm noticing here, okay? And it's the fact that her two fingers that are touching her face are fused together. Like she's got like, I can't tell if it's like a ring or this like a thing. If that fusion wasn't there, this would be perfect. Like this would be just an absolutely perfect video. But oh my God, the expressions on her is just absurd. The fact that it handled those piercings in her eyelids very well too is just insane. I feel really bad for her eyelids though. Like, oh my God, that would hurt. Imagine the friction of doing this. I learned how to do this in some of gnarly guys teaching thing. Yeah. I appreciate you learning that, because look at this. I mean, the little balls hanging on her ears too are just, the way that they dance around is so good. Oh, I'm floored by this, Enid, honestly. Okay. That's awesome. Yes, more fungal mancer stuff, fungi mancer stuff. Yes, please. That's great. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at what we have here for our turnarounds now. So we have this turnaround here. This is where we could start to use it in a very functional way. We are able to determine that the back and in front of her, all this looks really good. We see her from all angles. Very, very good. I like this. I'm going to now pause this video, and I am going to open up her character sheet inside of a different program. Like I said, you can use MS Paint, you can use Photoshop, you can use Affinity, you can use any image editing program. There's tons of free ones online that you can use. We even have in the knowledge base a whole library for you to pick from of what you want to use. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take her original character sheet first. Let's take that. Okay. and I'll open it up in Photoshop. Okay, here it is. And the only thing that I'm going to do now is I'm actually just going to drag a crop tool up above. Oops, I need to clear that. Up above her. In fact, let's go below her. We'll just go below. There you go. About the same height that she is right now. And the reason being is that what I'm going to do is inside of this video that we have, I'm just going to go to the first one, which is a 3/4 turnaround. Let's go for this here. I want to make sure her eyes are open for this one. So let's just go for this frame right here. And I right click on it and then I hit copy current frame. Okay. And inside of copy current frame, I then paste that image into Photoshop. And now we have our 3/4 angle. And now we need to get the profile of her. And we just keep rinsing and repeating this until we get all the angles for her. So this is a pretty good one. Let's go for that. Copy current frame. Paste that and put it to the next one. Okay. And so on and so forth until we have her from all angles. And we're going to probably ditch the back version of her to replace it with this video version of her because the video version is going to be a lot more accurate just overall. So let's now copy current frame, paste that into here. And since I have the option to do it, I'm going to turn on a blending mode for these two and set them to multiply, which means that I can now overlap the white on them and it's not going to interact with the other layers. So let's just drag that in already here. And I will hop ourselves to square. You could just delete the negative space, but I'm just going to grab one more angle of her, which is the opposite 3/4. Last time we had her eye in the frame. This is basically we had the third shot earlier. Now this is the 3/4, or sorry, the 1/4 shot. This is now the 3/4 shot. So I will copy this current frame. There we go. And lastly, we're going to go into tablet and then paste that into here. Set it to multiply so I don't have to worry about the negative space covering up parts of the character. And we 1, 2, 3, 4, bring that into the center. Actually, let's bring it to the left here. Drag it until we are, and I can actually use a ruler to show you guys this really quickly. Rulers. I just want to make sure that I don't exceed this negative space that's here. So I just need to make sure that this is inside the frame, which it is. So I will now go ahead and put the cropping tool into here and crop down to this, a little bit in here. And now we have our complete character sheet. We have we will need to get additional expressions from her, but this is going to get us a huge level up when it comes to being able to make this character from all sorts of angles. So for example, now if I want to tell a story where I see like she's confronting somebody, I need an over the shoulder of her. So now that I have this sheet, I can copy this, drag, let's just say this right here, and I can copy just this left side of her here. Let's copy this. I do need to quickly delete the what's on the other side here really quick. Come on, paste. There you go. Just need to delete her on the left here. Boop. There you go. So the reason I did that was because I just want this framing. Okay. And now I can go back up to Midjourney, hit create, and then find the last image we had, this profile here with the mood board. It had the style code, it has the Omni reference, so on and so forth. I can hit use, and then I can just describe the scene that I want to see. So let's just say that this is the back of a female knight with white hair confronts the let's just say the skeleton lich. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to paste that image that I have here. I'm going to now use that as the Omni reference, but use it with a low weight so that we don't preserve this whole negative background and space that's in here. Okay. So we can first submit this and see how it is, and then we'll also use it as an image prompt as well. So let's copy this up to here. We're going to use the same text prompt that we had earlier here, but now instead of using this as the omni weight, we're going to use it as an image weight. And there's reasons for this, but I'm just going to send it first, and it's going to be a predominantly white image to start because I want you guys to see what this does, and then we'll take it from there. So we definitely got an over the shoulder here, but we're not getting her as much. You can see that it's not really control. It's more like randomizing what elements she has here, because guess what? The Omni reference doesn't tell much. It just says here's the back of the character. Okay, but if we use it as an image prompt, by comparison, now all the results feature her in the correct spot in the correct angle because it matches this image. If you notice here, I have it set as an image prompt, which means that this white that's here, the composition is what gets preserved with an image prompt. So look at her. She's on the bottom right corner now. This one's a little bit of a flux of that, but she's on the bottom right corner effectively with these results. But I also don't like the fact that it completely enveloped the scene in white, right? So there's a couple different ways I could approach this. I could remove the white manually, like do an alpha channel or something here. That doesn't really give me as reliable results as you may think. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use an additional parameter, a parameter called image weight. So -IW. The default image weight is 1. So if too much of your image is dominated by what's inside of the image prompt, particularly all the negative space that's around the character, let's try a low image weight. Let's try 0.3. Anything between 0.1 and 3 is going to work. So if we're getting too much of the image in our image prompt, then we probably want to lower that number. If we're getting not nearly enough, it's not holding on to the composition at all, then we increase that number to compensate. The lower the image weight is going to be, the more likely that we are going to end up in a position where we are able to say, all right, I have the right level of creative control mixed in with variations or the potentiality of imagery that's within Midjourney. So we kind of balance those two constantly. But look at this. Look at that. We've already gotten the over the shoulder. We've gotten the looking at a lich-like character. The lich-like character having elements of her is normal. We're going to end up in painting that. But let's go ahead and re-roll this a couple times just to see what sort of variations we get off of this. But we could go even lower. The lich are cool. Yeah, I love the skeletons with this mood board and this profile code together. The skeletons just look so badass, honestly. It's one of my favorite. It's one of the reasons I wanted to start with this particular style of story. So let's just see which one works here. Yeah, we have plenty of over the shoulders, and this is something where it's like I described that I want to see the back of her, but I didn't describe it in any filmmaking terms. I used the imagery to establish those filmmaking terms, particularly the term over the shoulder. As a prompt, over the shoulder, kind of in my experience, it makes you kind of the characters do like the superstitious thing where they throw salt over their shoulder for good luck. It just literally puts something over their shoulder, like it's something floating above their shoulder. It doesn't understand it as a filmmaking term. So this is an over the shoulder shot where you're looking over the shoulder at the character that you're speaking to. Essentially, it's like I'm the POV of her. This is exactly what I prompted for. Right? I have her image weight here. Sometimes it just takes a couple of re-rolls to do. But now that I have this, I could essentially come in, hit edit, and change her outfit or change the lich's outfit to be something unique from her, because it as with most Midjourney imagery or just most AI imagery, it tends to repeat stuff very easily. So now I just come into here, get rid of any of my image prompts or descriptions. I just want to preserve the profile and the sref code, and I'll say that this is a red armored Lich King, and I can even erase the top of his head. It's going to put like a cool crown on his head. So let's go ahead and submit that. And I know that it's going to be reliable because I have those sref codes and those profile codes all good to go, all in there. If there's anything that I want you guys to mess with, is try using your style created codes in the editor. It's just, it blows my mind that I just did not use that nearly enough. But it's really good way to fix this sort of stuff. I usually just rely on on just whatever was in my current prompt to go with that. But the I didn't realize just how functional the style creator was going to be for editing images. But we do have a pretty cool, red armor cladded guy here. We could probably say that he has a crown to enforce that. So let's do that with a blood crown. And that should be it for how to do character turnarounds and use those character turnarounds in dynamic ways. Now, I will ask one thing from the audience here today. When it comes to, I have a question for you guys. I need a name. I need a name for this character. This warrior knight here. I need a name for her because we're gonna submit her to the character portal. So please, inside of VC text, post your ideas for what to name her, and we'll throw her in the character portal at the end of the stream. Let's take a look at what we got for the Lich King here. He doesn't have the red armor, but he looks badass now. Let's go with this one. I just think that's cool. I want to get rid of some of the filigree that's here, though. Like these almost like confetti. I want to get rid of that. I just want to keep it as sort of badass Night King as much as possible. Okay. Let's submit this, and then we will get her character sheet ready here. Again, feel free to make name suggestions, guys, inside of VC text. You'll find VC text just above the stage here. But let's go ahead and get the character portal entry started here. So I will go to the Gnarly Studio server. I will go into original characters, or the character portal here. Character portal. And then we hit new post. I am going to grab her character sheet, but I will use it as the second image in the lot here. So it basically, when you think about presentation, the first image you have is going to be the image that draws people into using your character. So let's make sure she has a pretty badass little opener image here. So let me just download my favorite one of these that we had. Yeah, that looks badass. Let's go with maybe that one. Yeah, I just like the chainmail. Let's go with that. Upscale to gallery. All right, now let's grab a good starting image for her. Yeah, it's one of these. I think we're gonna go with one of these. So let's do. Yeah, I think this one is pretty good. No, I want it a little more compelling than that. Let's do this one. Upscale this. Okay. Got some fun names already. We're gonna get those. We're gonna dig through those and see. Just gonna let this finish rendering. All right, the names that we have so far are Simonin Garfunkel. Okay. We have Bialka. We have Phaedra. We have Yolandria Heartknight. Simonin is a good name. I do like it. We have Morwin. And let's see if we get it. Morag. Let's see here. Espior. French for oh, that's cute. I like that. I think I'm gonna combine two of them. No potato. We'll leave that to Potato Propagator to use. In fact, Potato Propagator, all your character names should be just like the Latin names for different potatoes. Something like that. I forgot which. Oh, that's right. Okay, I was watching Gremlins over Christmas. Okay, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Gremlins. It's a freaking classic, and I highly recommend it. So the thing is that, yeah, as you do, I was watching Gremlins with my partner, and there was a detail that I didn't recognize right off the bat. So the villain, like the antagonist in the story, is the widow of the owner of the bank. It's this woman. I forgot her name. She's awful lady, and the thing is that she doesn't care about poor people. She's very negative, very capitalist person as well. But what I found so funny about my rewatch was that I got to hear the cats' names properly, all because she has a lot of cats in her house. The thing is that all the cats' names are names of different kinds of currency across the country, or sorry, across the world. I was laughing so hard at that it's like there's a yen, there's a like just the names for money. She's so obsessed with money, she named her cats all after money. I just find that so funny. What is the Gremlin leader's name? It's not Spike, it's Stripe. Um, okay. So now we have our names. I am going to go with the name. I'm going to combine two of them. I'm going to go with let's see, Phaedra Espio. I can't pronounce it in French, probably. Espio. Phaedra Espio. So whatever Phaedra means, with hope. Let's just combine those two. Everyone thinks it's Spike, but it's Stripe, right? Yeah, it's because he has a stripe in his head. It's a mohawk, and yeah, everyone thinks it's Spike. It's so funny. Even I thought it was Spike when I was rewatching it, and I was like, oh yeah, it is Stripe. All right, okay. Now that we have her, I'm going to take her image here, or one of our founding images of her, and I'm going to post that and include a small description of this character. I can go as much into lore as I want. I'm not going to today because it's just going to spend a bunch of time me writing stuff. But let's just say that she is the character focus for the new year. For the New Year stream 1/2/2026. Okay, I'm just putting that in there. We can always edit it later. You'll be able to edit any of your posts afterward as well. So like if you do have anything that you want to change for your description of your character, just you can do it later. You don't have to rush into that. Nothing's permanent. That kind of thing. But we want to make sure that we have the right descriptions attached to her. So let's say that she's a character design. It is certainly a fantasy. And is there any other ones that make sense? I don't think she's a villain. She is certainly a hero. She seems like a hero to me. And let's just throw her in Phantasma, because anything under the Phantasma tag will get considered for the fantasy series that we're working on. So we now have Phaedra Espior, and we have one image of her, which will predominate as the image. If I did include multiple images, it'll do like this, where you see like the grid, right? I'm just going to submit one image of her, and then now that we have her post here, I'm going to take her character sheet and her turnaround and include that as a second post, just so it's nice and clean. This is little Discord annoyances stuff where I'm like, I wish we could just get the options to do this in, a little more elegantly, but we're just going to do this here. Now I will also grab her turnaround. We will see that inside of the create here. And grab, which turnaround did I like? It was, I think, this one. Yes. I will now grab I'm going to just download the GIF for that. Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll just right click and hit copy video URL instead, and I'll just post it with the character turnaround and then hit submit. If I wanted to include descriptions of her, like say like she's always wearing a specific thing, she has a specific weapon, she has a specific whatever, I can include that as text instead of it as an image if I need to. But now that's everything. That's like the bare minimum of what you need to be able to tell a story with like at least a robust, consistent story with this character. You could always just hope for the best when it comes to one image and just relying on that image prompt to kind of guide you through the whole series or the whole video you're making. But doing your homework, doing the due diligence to make sure that you have a complete character sheet like this, is really going to help. It's going to really make it easy for you to go, okay, I need an over the shoulder, I need a wide establishing, I need so on and so forth. Just go through your shot list and make the series. The it's funny because I did not bring up the script that I wrote yet, because I realized about halfway through the stream that I was like, I will not be able to get this story done on this stream. So instead, I'm going to link the story probably after I get a couple of frames done for it, and then on the next stream where Rhapsody is actually coming back, we are going to flesh out this story and loop in our existing fantasy characters and bring it all in. We have a whole fresh year for it. Exactly, we got a whole year to start telling these stories. So that is going to kind of bring it down, bringing me towards the end of the stream here today. I want to dig through the history from you guys in VC Create really quick because there's a lot of cool stuff that I really don't want to miss here. But I do want to mention before any of you guys go that we do have something called the show after the show, where you can come onto the stage and talk with me, with the entire group, and say hey and just hang out. It is on the Gnarly Studios server. Just click on that go to server button in VC text, and you'll be able to join our server and then the show after the show stage chat. And that will let you be able to hang out and talk with us for another half hour to an hour after the stream. It's a really great way to get to know everyone that's here too. So, but let's take a look at some of these here. We have a cinematic still of a Dragon Knight wearing dragon scale armor on the bridge of a spaceship. Oh, okay, yeah, you're going full hard, Fractal Bob, and mixing these two. Oh, well, that's all good, Golem. No worries. You're in a very different time zone than me, so I totally get it. But yes, mixing any of this sci-fi and fantasy stuff is really cool. It's pretty interesting that you're trying to like ship a dragon via spaceship. We have more of this pink character here. She needs a little more of those lips though that she had earlier. I think that's a level of like, I don't know, like sassy bitch that I get from her with those lips as opposed to this. But yes, it's very cute. The name Phaedra comes from the Greek mythology. She was a Cretan princess, a Cretan princess, the daughter of Minos and Phaedra. I can't. Sorry, so if I butcher, I'm gonna be butchering these. Don't judge me. The wife of Theseus. The name derives from the Greek word Phaedros, which means bright or radiant. So she's radiant hope. That's awesome. That is awesome. Thank you so much for that, Zeres. Let's go ahead and give Zeres a credit here. Let's do this. I am going to say, inside of the character portal, that this is named by Xerix. There you go. Just make sure you get that credit in there. That's why if I ever use this character, I'll make sure that name goes in. Okay, awesome. And let's see here. Oh no! Thank you so much for joining Dragon Wolf. I really do appreciate you taking the time and finding VC text and hanging out with us. Let's also include the over the shoulder that we did of her, because that is going to be, I feel like, important for us to get the continuity of what we were going for before. And that should be just about it. Let's also dig through VC Create just a little bit more. There's so much stuff here. What give? Oh, you did a void start. Nice. An empty prompt at the beginning. That's awesome. That's so cool. Senior New Year for the name. Nice. And Senior. Yes, that's right. Senior. Let's go ahead and add Senior to this as well. Senior. Oh, he's not on the server. Okay. Oh, that's right. I can't. It's like you have weird characters in your name. That's right. That's right.
It's Carlos Creatr.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. Got it. Got it. It's the weird characters that make me unable to tag you very easily. But thank you so much for that, Kiki. All right, sweet.
Anytime.
We got anytime. All right, so let's take a look at VC Create a little more. I got some weird lettering. A, B, C. All right, let's take a look at the realistic ones. Really throw me off. I know that there's certain influences from big fantasy series in there They do throw me off whenever they do that. This is cool. An apothecary is probably a really good prompt that I have not used enough in order to get the bottles on the wall sort of thing for Roxy's potion shop. This is apothecary is a word I have to recall back on. I want to upscale that third one because it's just really cool. I like it. Whenever I'm upscaling stuff too, it does save to my account. Like I'm able. Oh, whoa, yeah. Definitely. This is like one of those inspirational moments where it's like the first thing I want to do is just run a high motion animate on this. See what we get. And any of these results I'll probably be bringing back up. Ooh, the cave exit. Oh, that cave exit looks so good. Ah! It's amazing what this is doing when you add the no cartoon to it. That's insane. Awesome. Okay, well, we're mostly caught up here. Let's go ahead and yeah, like this incredible. Absolutely incredible. This would make a great SREF for the future as well. I'm gonna actually take this. So let's go ahead and copy this image. This is from. Let me just remind myself who it's from. Golden Pasta again. So let's go ahead and also paste this inside of the. We have a bunch of AI channels on the Gnarly Studio server as well. This is where you can prompt stuff without being worried about spamming or anything like that. There's no such thing as spamming in the AI channels. But we are going to just paste that image into there so that I have it. Whenever I recall back to this, we'll have it too, because that's going to make a really great SREF. And I see some cool stuff with the bottles and stuff here too. Yeah, very cool. Okay, cool. That is it. That's going to be the end of the stream here for today, guys. Thank you all so much for making this new character with me today, and I hope to see you guys at the show after the show on the Gnarly Studios server. Thanks for Kinky for co-hosting with me today. I really do appreciate you, and
Anytime.
I'll be excited to see you guys next week. This is going to be another fun one, I promise. We'll see how it goes. Thank you all so much.
Bye bye.
Bye. Wiggle, wiggle.